Alright, welcome back. We are ready to begin Losers Bracket Round 5 against dannovi, the #1 seed. And we're going to be the USA. So here's what we're looking at here. I did notice just before the game I have a 1-0 record against him, so it's cause for optimism. So let's take a look at our hand. We have defectors, Korean War, Olympic Games, Nasser, de Gaulle, Suez, captured Nazi, and Truman. So my setup's going to be the standard 4-4-2 for the US. This hand is not ideal. At least we have a couple cards to hold for blockade. I'm kind of leaning towards a defector's headline here in case he tries to red scare me. That would just absolutely cripple this hand. But let's wait and see how he sets up. It seems that the standard USSR opening has become 4 in the 2 battlegrounds and then 1 in Austria, as the I guess groupthink is that the non-battlegrounds in Europe are not as valuable as we once thought. So many USSR players tend to go with that extra guy in Austria rather than Yugoslavia to protect against independent Reds. So the other piece of good news we're looking at here is the one game he's lost in this tournament. I believe it was as the USSR. I mean, small sample size and all, but
Да здравствует наша славная Родина, ее свобода, ее независимость. Под знаменем Ленина вперед, победа!
so with Defector's headline, I'm hoping he tries a red scare on me. I'd also be happy to see socialist governments, because that would hinder his... There it is, okay. So now let's see if he decides to coup Italy with his AR1, now that the socialist governments has failed. So hold card here is most likely going to end up being Truman. Unless I trigger de Gaulle and then use Truman immediately to get him out of there. But US tends to have more important things to do in the early war with those ops. But we'll have to wait and see how the coup goes. That's where plans change quickly. So we do want to do captured Nazi for the event. Probably fairly early in the turn, because all the comments I've read about dannovi. Interesting. Very interesting. So this is something I've not ran into before, where the USSR declines to coup on their opening turn. So I guess that makes my play Afghanistan to spread there and then one in France in case he coups Italy and leaves it empty. That way he's not guaranteed to walk in. So yeah, I think that might be the play, which likely means De Gaulle will be a space shot or held card. So let's try that. Let's see what he does with our. So we also want to get into Malaysia ASAP. Um, Captured Nazi for the event. I mean, if he doesn't coup here, or his coup fails, that might be a good time to do it. And we have to remember to hold on to Suez and or De Gaulle for blockade. It's of critical importance. I find it very, very interesting that he did not coup in AR1 there. Why wouldn't he have done that? Okay, so he's going to event decall. So I can coup him in Thailand here. But he could coup me right back. That is the problem. And I really don't have any good cards to coup with. That is the other problem. So I could do Captured Nazi now. But then it makes it even more unlikely I get Thailand, because he's going to fill it up. My only option really to coup with is going to be Korean War. I guess one thing I could do is resolve Nasser and then coup Egypt. Then, well, then he could coup Iran and drop DEFCON to 3. This is Very interesting. So, okay, if I'm going to coup, maybe it has to be with the Gaul. You know what? I think we take that chance here. We know he can coup back, but let's see what happens. I think with Europe scored, this is a safer play. And then we'll hold Suez for blockade. And we get a 6. We get a 6. So now I have to imagine he coups us back. If he doesn't, we immediately do Nasser, coup Egypt to protect Thailand. He could coup us back with the China card here. Okay. So we'll do the standard. And then we carry on with our plan. Do we want to, yeah, I mean, I don't want to give him Korean War this early. I think this is the best play, and we hope for another good roll. We got a good roll. Okay, so our next play is gonna be captured Nazi. Okay. So that might explain some of his moves. Well, he was holding 2 DEFCON trouble cards and decal. So I got one op to play with. I think my best bet here is Angola, coup there. And then Korea to space. Yeah, I think that's the best move. So let's coup Angola. Unless, do I want to... Yeah, let's coup Angola. because that makes duck and cover unplayable, and he can't hold Red Scare over. So what I'd really like to see here is special relationship. I mean, obviously he doesn't have it, but I'd like to see it. We know he doesn't have blockade. So I'm going to have to, I think Suez is going to be my next play. I'll have to put guys into Egypt so I don't lose access to that part of the Middle East. So maybe do, but I do want to keep special relationship active. So he's gonna, maybe I put one in Jordan and two in UK. Although, what's more important, breaking France or controlling Egypt? The thing about controlling Egypt is I can do that at my leisure the next action round. If I do it now, it gives him a coup target. Oh, it's my turn. Crap. So, okay. Next play. We'll do Suez or Korea to space. Duck and cover to space. And then Suez.
The seeds of totalitarian regimes are nurtured by misery and want.
Okay,
They
so
spread and grow in the evil soil of poverty and strife.
motion.
They reach their full growth when the hope of a people for a better life has died.
Okay, so he's gonna coup Middle East. So I think that's a no-brainer headline. Maybe I try and hold containment over. Oh no, I can't hold containment over. I'm gonna have to hold D-stall over, obviously. Unless he blockades me, in which case I hold nothing over. So he coups with Warsaw. He gets a roll. And now we focus on Asia. So Korea War is gone. we don't need to overprotect that. So US-Japan's still out there. He's going to grab India. Oh no, Red Scare. Oh, if he has blockade, I'm screwed. Okay, so we have to play containment, so I can discard D-stall to blockade. That was a close call there. Okay, so NORAD to space. Spread out a little bit there. And we'll head into Angola, since it looks like Asia is going to be scoring even. Indo-Pakistani war is still out there, so I could grab Burma there. And I don't have Indo-Pakistani war right now, so I don't know how important that is. I should be grabbing these battlegrounds. I also do need to continue spreading out in the Middle East, since he cooed me between Suez and that opening coup. I would like to... Yep, there's Indo-Pakistani war, so glad I didn't waste ops on Burma. So I would like to... spend my AR-6. I guess it could be my AR-5 if we think he has blockade. So I'd like to break France and play Truman, was what I'm getting at here. China card. Okay, so that changes the state of Asia. 1, 2, 3. I doubt he left a scoring card for his last AR. That's generally bad style. Or maybe he did. Okay.
So my country's purpose is to help us move out of the dark chamber of horrors into the light, to find a way by which the minds of men, the hopes of men, the souls of men everywhere can move forward toward peace and happiness and well-being.
So he has 5-year plan, Marshall Plan, U.S. Japan, Fidel, Cambridge 5, and UN intervention. Let's see what we get on the reshuffle. NORAD. NORAD, Red Scare, and Vietnam. So, I do believe Red Scare is the headline. I'm glad to see Blockade. I mean, nothing else really worth headlining here. We're going to play Romanian Abdication before Independent Reds. He goes with Fidel. I assume he's cooing. He could coup Panama. That would be trouble for me. So I probably should concentrate on getting over to Costa Rica to protect it. I also need to grab France as soon as I can. So UN, he's probably going to do it with Marshall Plan. Yep. So I guess we, with this last op, we don't need to go to Costa Rica right now. Maybe we just overprotect France, since de Gaulle's still out there. Okay, so I would also like to continue spreading in the Middle East. He gets duck and cover again. And he continues to explode on the launch pad, as it were. So, okay, we need to protect, spread. We can set up Asia domination here, perhaps. He's used his space shot and he still has US-Japan Defense Pact. So it's going to come down to country count. It'll be 5 to 5, so maybe I grab... Okay, so wait, what did I do with those ops? So I put 1 here. Let's put 2 here to guard Thailand against brush wars. So he has 5-year plan, US, Japan, and a mystery card. Thinking maybe I send Vietnam to space here. That's just what I was hoping his mystery card was. So one thing he might try to do is use US Japan for ops and stuff it into South Korea. He could do that too. That's also a good use of that card. So we're tight on country count. I guess let's get rid of blockade. Discarding D-stall. And we'll grab Indonesia. And there goes 5-year plan. Okay, so now we'll play Romania. And then we'll plan to headline independent Reds unless something more compelling comes up.
приветствовать недавно принятые в члены Организации Объединенных Наций государства и передать им пожелания благополучия и процветания.
Alright, so once again we're looking at a hand that's not very good. So we know D-Stall's gone, so that's one route out of South America that we don't have to worry about. We're gonna have to play it before we play Allende. It'd be nice if he gave us, like puppet governments or OAS. Don't see him doing that. Olympic Games is a big risk to headline because of We Will Bury You. He could boycott and I would lose the game on DEFCON suicide. So I think Independent Reds is still my only viable headline. Korean War. Okay, that's a relief. So he coups with a 2 card and succeeds. I guess technically that's a success. I don't know that you would really call it that if you were USSR there. Alright, so next thing to do is going to be take that back. Possibly overprotect it. Well, I could do overprotect it like this, and then I'll grab Panama to give myself a presence up there. Indo-Pakistani. He's got all the war cards. Okay, so next thing to do Okay, so I'm going to have to trigger one of Liberation Theology or Muslim. Well, I guess I could space them both. We know that's going to be safe because I'm holding one small step, so he won't be able to catch up to that spot on the space race. So, in that case, let's do this. We'll spread just a little bit more in the Middle East. And we'll grab a Southeast Asia victory point. So I do want to space those guys before I play one small step in case he has SALT negotiations, I think. We also need to start thinking about when Okay, so he's trying to get Africa domination here. Well, he's not trying to. He did get Africa domination. So if I coup there, I mean, he grabbed 2 battlegrounds. There's not much I can do. So let's begin our trips to space. Unless... yeah. There's Africa. So I think next play will be spacing. Oh boy. I should have overprotected Thailand, shouldn't I? Alright, so if I eat Muslim Revolution here... I lose all presence in the Middle East. Alright. Some points for us. That's good. So the question now is, do I space Muslim now? Or do I play Allende to grab South Korea? I have the China card. I could also play Allende and try to realign them out immediately. Or I could try to see his headline next turn. So, you know what? Let's go up the space racetrack here.
We dare not tempt them with weakness, for only when our arms are sufficient beyond doubt can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed.
Okay, so we get to see his headline. kind of thinking regardless here, it's going to be Middle East scoring, because he can coup me out of presence. He could do a missile envy headline here. Well, I doubt he'd do that with, well, I guess duck and cover is in the discard pile, so he might. And if he does that, we'll give him flower power. Okay, he can have that. So how much is this worth? A measly 3 points. Yeah, I think that's the play there. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, he's cooing with Warsaw Pact again. And he's setting up to realign me out of Africa entirely. So I do have colonial rearguards here. That would stop his lamp realign threats. I think that's probably the play. If we do a 1, a 2, a 3. Do I want to try and throw one in Southeast Asia to flip a VP there? Or do I want to go to Botswana? Or even Nigeria? Might not be a bad play. Let's do Nigeria. Okay. Another thing I could do here is coup Botswana with U2 incident. Is De Gaulle still in the deck? I need to get Europe scored. Can't forget that. Oh yeah, he's removed. And then Suez is removed as well. Okay. A terrible roll. It's alright. Lone gunman. Okay, so he's working on Egypt, which means we'll do this. Okay, so let's get Willy Brandt out of our hand. We'll need to protect that, and then we'll grab South Korea back. I think next space we will bury you. Is there anything in the discard pile worth salting for? Red Scare maybe. I'd prefer to use it on like ABM or Brush War, especially as the US. Decall. Well, that seems to indicate he has Southeast Asia scoring. So we're going to take all those guys back. And we're back to even.
Пройдя через тяжелейшие испытания, советские люди отстояли.
Okay, this is not a bad hand. So what's left in the deck that could be troublesome for a Missile Envy headline? And what 4-op cards are out there? So if he gives me NATO, that would be useless. I think that's the only 4-op card left in the deck is NATO. If he gives me Ask Not, it would be useless. So I think we're going to skip Missile Envy here. I, on the other hand, could headline Kitchen Debates. Pick up those VPs. I could headline Camp David. Our man in Tehran's going to be Ops, because it's useless in turn 6. Let's double check and make sure we get a turn 7 reshuffle. It looks like we will. It's possible we won't. My two uber powerful cards are still out there in Grain Sales and Voice of America. I've played my other one, which was Colonial Rearguards. So I think he likely has a rough hand here. Quagmire's gonna go to space if it's not held. Junta is still out there. The only scoring card left is Central America. We're going to want to make a grab for some points here. Let's get into that stage. So we're going to want points from Kitchen Debates, we're going to want points from Arms Race, we're going to want points from Camp David. That's 6 of them. Alright, so he's doing that to give himself a coup target, I'm reckoning. I still don't think Missile Envy is the correct headline here. So what's left in the deck? Ask Not, Bear Trap, Defectors, Grain Sales, NATO, Nuclear Subs, OAS, Puppet Government, Shuttle, Special Relationship, Voice of America, Arab Israeli, Brezhnev, Che, Cultural Revolution, OPEC, Portuguese Empire, Brush War, Cuban Missile Crisis, How I Learned to Stop Worrying, Huta Summit. Yeah, I don't like the odds of pulling a really good US event there that's not useful right now. So maybe the headline is indeed Kitchen Debates to just grab those points. And we'll lock that bad boy in. He very well could have Bear Trap here and plotting to Bear Trap himself and get rid of those horrible US cards. Nice roll for us there. Okay, so what would we coup? Well, rather than coup, would it be better to start spreading? Yeah, I want to start spreading so he can't just realign me out right away. And then we'll save ABM for later. I'm thinking it's going to be a coup in maybe Algeria. I suspect he's holding Brush War here. Is Arab Israeli in the discard? No. So that might push Camp David slightly up my priority list, since that prevents that event from happening. Oh, someone took their turn against me. Okay, Central America. 1 point for him. So the one thing about John Paul is he's gotten Warsaw Pact twice, so that's a killer in the late war. So is it time for the ABM treaty, or do I need to further protect South America? Let's further protect it. And then we'll spend that other op. Let's overprotect South Korea, since KAL is coming. Okay. So I think it's time for the ABM treaty here. So Portuguese Empire is still out there, but let's see, if I roll at least a 3, I'm safe from it. So let's do that. And then next AR we'll plan to play arms race for the event. So that sets up realignments on Angola. But we'll just have to live with that, I think. We'll take our points. There's the realignments against Angola. Let's stack up some more points while he's doing that. I'll do that too. And then perhaps AR7 if I'm still, well, I guess, yeah, if I'm still there in South Africa, I'll break it with John Paul. I'm not super motivated to event that, like I said, because of Warsaw Pact. Well, that's handy. So the reason I didn't put 2 in Argentina is because I was worried he would realign it.
For the first time, because the people of the world want peace, and the leaders of the world are afraid of war, the times are on the side.
Alright, so let's see what we got here. We got Ask Not. We got Portuguese. We got NATO. Arab Israeli. Thanks Camp David. Brush War. Brezhnev. And How I Learned to Stop Worrying. Which means he has bear trap, defectors, grain sales, nuclear subs, puppet governments, shuttle diplomacy, the voice of America, cultural revolution, and junta. That is an ugly, ugly hand for him. And I know his entire hand. And I get nuclear test ban on the reach around. So, okay, I have to think he'll headline Cultural Revolution here. I have to think he's going to bear trap himself. Because he has a lot of my cards. I think Ask Not will be my hold. If he doesn't headline Cultural Revolution, we play the China card immediately. Not really anything I want to send to space here, but depending on how the round goes, I might want to space Brezhnev, because that'll put me in War Games territory. I'd like to, okay. I'd like to brush war Algeria. I guess the question is, what do I want to headline? I could brush war Zaire as well to help those realignments. I mean, is brush war the headline? I don't know what else it would be. I could do How I Learned to Stop Worrying. Put DEFCON to 2. That might not be a bad play here. That might not be a bad play here. Then we can save Brezhnev or Brush War for later. Yeah, I like that play the best. That way he can't coup with junta, and I'll get my military ops. We'll all be happy. So okay, the other issue is if I put DEFCON to 2, well, DEFCON's going to be at 2 regardless, because I imagine he coups with Junta. If he doesn't coup with Junta, he coups on his AR1. So, yeah, I think this is the headline here. That is what we call bad dice. Yep, so there's Cultural Revolution as we expected. Okay, so now I think we brush war Zaire in order to stop or hinder those realigns. So that will give him the 2 points from whatchamacallit. So there's him bear trapping himself. He's overprotecting stuff. So now we have to pounce. So, step 1. I could make a play for Europe control here. Well, Warsaw Pact, can't do that. Can't do that. Okay, step 1. So I think Middle East is probably the next place to go. Or Africa. I could take, save that one just in case. So grain sales fails. Okay, so I think next we Arab Israeli Voice of America succeeds. So the unfortunate thing is those are gone for the game now. We're gonna have to play Allende this turn. So he's still holding defectors, nuclear subs, puppet governments, and shuttle diplomacy. So I think next play will be Portuguese, and we'll go to we'll go to Egypt and Angola, since that will give him 2 guys in Angola. After that, it'll be Allende with an attempt to realign him out of Chile. After that, Brezhnev, likely to space, depending on the VP situation. I'd like to get over 6. I wonder if going to Cameroon was a bad idea, because that gave him a place to get his ops. If that's something he wants to do. So, okay, one small step. Do I need a space now? It is in the deck. If he plays one small step here, that is borderline disastrous. I need a 3-op card to space, so I think we got a space now. Just in case he has it. And we need a 1 to 3. Go! Okay. I was really hoping for that one. Okay. Oh, he doesn't have one small step, you idiot. Okay, well that gives me a point at least. I guess I was going to do that regardless. So, he's holding nuclear subs and shuttle. So I imagine he'll be playing nuclear subs, which I will not use. Then he holds. Well, I guess maybe he'll play shuttle diplomacy. Now that I dominate both regions. That'll allow him to flip Angola. No. Okay. So, we're not tempted by the subs here. We're gonna do this and attempt to realign right away at even. And we get the dice.
But surely one such lesson, learned by the world at great cost, is that aggression, unopposed, becomes a contagious disease.
Okay, so we get Aldrich, Purging, Formosan, Alliance, Iron Lady, Solidarity, Reagan, and Iraq. So let's see what he headlines. I am thinking my headline will be Alliance for Progress for a quick 4 victory points. I have to think that will be his coup target, somewhere over there, since I'm threatening South America control. So we will get while the getting's good, as the some people say. So let's grab those points now. So Iraq is a tempting target for that war card. He also might not want to coup here because of war games, or he does. And he doesn't coup what I would expect him to, which is interesting. Perhaps he has the scoring card. So that's still worth a point for me. That does set up real lines for him. So if I were to realign, I would use Formosion. And what would that be at? Even. Do we want to be trying even realigns right now? So if he succeeds realigning me out of South Africa, that'll give him domination for sure. Another option would be cooing Botswana. I'm under Red Scare, so that's not as great. That also means I can't space this turn, which is most unfortunate. So then, okay, maybe I try that war card now before he like grabs Syria or something. I don't see him doing that. The other option would be to grab South America now. I think he's more likely to have the South American scoring card than he would grab Syria. So yeah, let's grab Chile. Get that control. We also know he still has shuttle diplomacy. So I'd like to event Reagan. I'd like to event the war. Can't space, which I'm still concerned about one small step. So he's got salt, okay. And he salts for brush war. So I have to think he's gonna possibly brush war Panama. But I don't want him cooing my stuff in the Middle East or in Asia. I don't know that he would, with coup attempts being -2. So this is basically a 0-op coup here that I'm doing. I would need a 5 or a 6. It might be worth it though, because if I win, it hinders his realignments again. He just coups me back. We're doing it. We get a 6. We get a 6. Okay, that was not unexpected. So that'll protect, since we know he has brush war, that'll protect Panama against it. He has a number of other targets. I mean, Panama is one of his more attractive ones, but he could go after anywhere in South America. He could go after Nigeria, Egypt, Thailand even. NATO's not in effect, so he could go after Italy. But we can stop one of them. Tough to do too much under Red Scare. Okay, so there's brush war on Italy, and we get some more dice. We are getting all the dice here. So now we're gonna do this. He gets some more VPs, but we have some more dice. Alright, so we're no longer seeing his headline. Can't discard all three. We're hoping for war games here, obviously. NORAD and Quagmire. Okay. So that's immediately worth a victory point for us. I guess, hold on. Warsaw Pact. You know what, let's play this event now. And that'll give us something to do in AR7 with NORAD. 2-op card. Saw it coming. Saw that coming. Okay. So 2 out NORAD. Could grab Mexico. Yep, that gives us South America domination. I think that's the obvious play. Okay, here we go. Turn 9. Let's get some war games.
I believe that communism is another sad, bizarre chapter in human history whose last pages.
Can't see his headline anymore. Got Star Wars. We hold that in case we get ahead on the space race track. You got ABM again. Anything you can do in the Middle East? Marine barracks. That'd be bad. Okay, so Missile Envy is back in the deck, so if he plays that now, it's bad. So, I think ABM's the headline here. Okay, that's great, that's great. So now we coup Angola. He's going to get 3 VP. I care not. Because we're going to get a bunch with Middle East scoring here. So tear down this wall to space. He fails. Good. So that tells me he does not have one small step, because he would have evented that before going to space, which means I can take my time on my space shot. Do I grab the points in the Middle East now? Or do I go for South Africa? With probably Che. My space card. Okay. I don't want to have to quagmire myself here. But I also don't want to reformer myself. I guess, okay, so we're going to hold one of them. He could be holding terrorism here too. I don't want to discard Middle East scoring. South Africa isn't worth a ton because it would still be 3-2 in battlegrounds. So I think Middle East scoring is the play right now. Then if he grabs South America, I can use colonial rearguards. So that puts me to 12. Okay, terrorism. Okay, that's good. So we're glad we played Middle East there. So, okay, if I'm gonna hold Star Wars to wait out war games, I can't. I would have to quagmire myself. But on the other hand, I don't need to wait out war games because I'm pretty far ahead on pretty much every region. Is Indo-Pakistani in the discard pile? No. So maybe, well, I could break Vietnam. Is Vietnam removed? No. Is it in the discard pile? No. So we can't go to Vietnam. How are we at on country count here? 6 to 8. So let's protect that. Vietnam. Okay. It's alright. It's alright. So now let's just get this garbage out of here. That's worth a VP. And if he Warsaw packs it, fine. He can't take Poland back. So I think next turn will be next AR will be my space shot. Oh, that's delicious. That was a lot of good cars we just got rid of there. Okay, so he's getting his ops. We're going to go to space. Now that Glasnost is gone, Reformer hurts less than Quagmire. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm going to have to trigger one of those because terrorism came out. So, okay, so it's going to be Quagmire to space now. Okay, that's alright. That's totally fine. We can, We can allow the reformer to happen. It's only going to be 4 ops in Europe. And with Glasnost gone, and him being down on VPs, the reformer's not brutal. It's just 4 influence. We also have Star Wars now. What would we want with that? Okay, I can conduct 8 action rounds. Big deal. What would I want to do with Star Wars? Maybe I hold on to that until the very last AR. Okay, so first we're going to do Yuri and Samantha. We will overprotect. So we can't do more than 2 ops per country with the reformer. I'm going to have 3 ops to use with the reformer. So let's do that. Maybe that won't give away too much of what I'm trying to do here, which is prepare for said reformer. Marine barracks, okay. I don't care about that anymore. Okay, so now we let the reformer happen. Hopefully this doesn't wreck us too much. He might just go to like Greece. Or something. Okay, and then so what would I do with Star Wars? Voice of America's in the discard pile. Isn't it? Yep. What would I do with Voice of America? I could pull him out of Egypt and Libya. East European unrest might not be bad. I could get him down to 1 guy. But of course... so let's repair. Oh, that's game. I can't believe it. I just beat him. Wow. Once again, I'm pretty surprised. I'm not as shocked as I was in the round 1 game because yeah, that's Wow. Anything he could have done better? I I don't know. Yeah, that was an unorthodox turn one. Okay, I'm going to sign off with this video. I'm super pumped. We're moving on in the tournament. I did not expect to be. Dannovi played well, like I said in the chat here. We just got all the dice today. Sometimes that happens in Twilight Struggle. Catch you next time.